and would not let me go. And I know it will be different this time because we are a different aggregation, gathered for a different purpose. And so the word will be different. I wanted a good and happy sermon, y'all. I wanted a celebration. I wanted a celebratory text for this inaugural moment, for this establishing, but that's ego. Spirit instead would have me pose a question to us. As for months now, we've been saying it's time to rise. It's time to rise. It's time to rise. But an open, honest question comes to us right now, beckoning us to look within, to look at our sense of purpose, to look at our raison d'etre. Come on, seminary students.
Yes.
Why did God call us forth as a community called Rise? Derived from the 2005 documentary on street kids in LA, who in the midst of a world that told them that they were nothing, less than, thugs, ratchet, they carved out a sacred space and drew from generations of embodied cultural memory and danced their way into another form of existence. Out of their street epistemology, they preached an embodied word. And they lived out their lives as wounded healers. And so from that documentary, Rise, we are establishing. And so I'll take us to the word. I will read a narrative from the New Testament in the Bible, Mark chapter 2, verses 1 through 12. Are you still with me? Yes. Then in my woman's self, who must rise, as this too is the point of the creation of this community, I'm going to read from the gospel according to Kariamu.
Wow.
Amen. Somebody's mad already? So that's all right. I want to share some words that I shared recently in Baltimore, Maryland, during a woman's gathering there. Words entitled for Mark 2, verses 1 through 12. And it reads, when Jesus returned to Cana after some days, it was reported that he was at home. So many gathered around that there was no longer room for them, even in the front of the door. And he was speaking the word to them. Then some people came, and when they could not and some people came bringing to him a paralyzed man, carried by 4 of them. And when they could not bring him to Jesus, because of the crowd, they removed the roof above him. Yes. And after having dug through it, they let down the stretcher, the mat on which the paralytic lay. When Yeshua saw their faith, when Jesus saw their rising, he said to the paralytic, son, your alienation is fixed. I know what that says. Now some of the scribes were sitting there questioning in their hearts, why does this man speak in this way? This is blasphemy. Who can forgive sins but God alone? And once Jesus perceived in his spirit discernment that they were discussing these questions among themselves, and he said to them, why do you raise such questions in your heart? Which is easier, to say to the paralytic, your sins are forgiven, or to say, stand up and take up your bed and walk? But that you might know that the Son of Man has authority on earth to forgive, to restore. He said to the paralytic, I say to you, stand up, take up your bed, rise, and go to your home. And he stood up and immediately took up his bed and went out before all of them, so that they were amazed, glorifying God and saying, we have never seen anything like this. The gospel according to Kariamu. What is this place? Full of pain and misery, weighing down like an anchor, washing over me, angry as a hurricane. Folk wasting away. This insane place where those who killed us, bringing us here, kill us still. Kill us with their images we worshiping their ways of knowing and being. I'm on my deathbed, y'all. Covered with sores brought on by days of tearing away at my own flesh, and I'm trying to heal my wounds with these words. What is this crazy place, this crazy world? It is the place that I have created. My hands held hold. Tightened the noose around my own neck every time I sat in silence and did not claim my own voice. My complicity made this big. I saw those kids struggling but went on about my business while they cried. Yeah. This place, my place, it still exists because I never changed. And now the question that serves as our subject. Are you still with me? I know it's taken years already. Are you ready to rise? Are you ready to rise? On January 28th, right at high noon, I exited the chapel at ITC, where we had just been engaged in our twice-a-week gathering. Dr. Timbo Bavico, our speaker for the hour, and our provost had just said 30 minutes before that he prayed for the snow to come at 5 a.m. so he wouldn't have to preach. But by the time chapel ended, we stood in the atrium and we greeted our student staff and faculty and others present, and when we looked outside, the snow began to fall at a moderate pace. By the time I walked to my car and drove less than 10 minutes to I-20 and turned on my windshield wipers, ice had formed on the windows. Not snow, but ice pellets were sticking to my window. Then as I rounded I-20 west to get on 285 south, I had a brief time of stopped traffic as a hero truck moved a pickup out of the way. We proceeded around 285, and when we could move again, by the time we got to Camp Creek, I had already seen several accidents, and many of us were barely making it up the hill, our cars slipping and sliding on the pavement. After traffic stopped for another brief period, I exited the interstate, one exit early, followed by the Spirit of God, and took the back roads and made it to my house. By the time I settled myself, turned on the news, where I knew the weather conditions were being monitored, I was shocked at what I saw. And continued to see numerous accidents, cars bumper to bumper on the interstates, and Camp Creek Parkway area where I had just come from and passed 20 minutes before was in gridlock. Time is filled with the transition. A city, an entire metropolitan area was in gridlock. Folks in the cold with nowhere to go. I got somebody in here with a testimony today. I know because I spoke to you. I was on the phone with you. It took you 4, 5, 6, 7, 10, 14, 20, 24, 27 hours to get home. Stuck with nowhere to go. A city in dysfunction and disarray, deadlock, disgust, and disappointment. Because according to the powers that be, they didn't know what was coming. They didn't know that it would ice up so quickly. The governor wouldn't take responsibility. The mayor took responsibility and then invited other city mayors to join him in doing so. But at the end of the day, the largest issue was that the entire metropolitan area of Atlanta, Georgia, millions of people were released from their destinations from the same places in the same window of time and flooded the roads covered with ice. And in this great city that is part of this so-called great empire, we were brought to our knees. Elder Anela Ekundayo texted me later that day and asked me, in the words of the lesson of Mama E.T. Hari, what has this spirit that entered our city come to teach us? You see, the storm is a formidable teacher. The storm will Oh yes, I hear the prophetic words of Umi Mauho